Science.
Josh, Zuby Zabrickus. These pretzels are making me super thirsty.
Gavin from TerraTech Industries.
Hey, this is Matt the Crypt, and you should be watching Wi-Fi over.
I'm Dustin, king of the airwaves. Hello, la la la.
All right, guys, welcome to our podcast. This is podcast number 16. If you guys are playing at home in the home edition, my name is Todd Ensich. Thank you very much, guys. This is our after show / podcast. We do this every week after our regular half-hour program here at BehindTheBunker.com. If you found us, that means we are on iTunes or Podomatic if you are one of them there Android people. With me, I have Josh Zuby Zabrickus.
Sup?
Joe Kimson from Flagger's Paintball.
Greetings.
And Matt the Crypt pushing buttons. And Seb is unfortunately
right there.
out having a breath of fresh air. Oh, here he is. Seb, can you give us your impersonation of your friend Simon Stevens?
Autococker.
Very nice.
That's
very dead on. Now, Joe, we had some interesting news released this week.
We did.
Yeah, a little company called Shoreline out of the UK.
Yes.
Does probably one of Europe's biggest promoters. He does events like the Citadel and Zombieland, which is going on this weekend, I believe.
Yes, but he also does big events at normal traditional paintball fields. So he doesn't. Not everything he does is at some sort of
crazy location and venue.
Crazy venue. Sorry, crazy venue.
Yeah, but I heard that he is coming to North America, and he has picked one lucky location that he feels is one of the greatest places in the world to do an offshoot thing.
Yes,
and
Flag Raiders Paintball.
Yeah.
September 21st.
I've actually got something somebody wrote in for that.
Why don't you tell
very
us?
good.
This is Jeremiah D. Pillin wrote in. I think you should talk about what do you think the Shoreline scenario will be at Flag Raiders Paintball, what you think the ticket cap will be, and how quickly you think it might sell out. Oh, and is Tim Barnett the best looking paintball game producer live?
No.
Or just the most ingenious? And Tim Barnett posted up in a photo. It looks like he's drinking an entire 60 of Jack Daniels.
Nice.
Haha, I am actually very disappointing in the flesh.
Nice. This let me give you a little bit of history. Joe, Zuby, and I were and Matt were at Extravaganza. We landed. We got to the hotel, checked in. They told us our room wasn't ready, so we went and chilled in the bar for a little while. We opened up our laptops, turned on our phones to get internet, and 5 minutes old of a press release was the press release letting people know what was going on, and so it was that new. Within a couple hours of that, we already had people coming up to us saying, "Hey, we're coming to Flag Raiders for that event. Good job." And these are people all across the United States. So I think it's going to be massive. I think the player cap's going to be hit early, and this is going to be a sellout. I think if you don't get your tickets before the day, honestly, I don't know. That's a Tim question, but I'm thinking probably around 1,000.
Okay, so I'll put a note on here. Ask Tim.
When it gets to 999, you may want to register. Otherwise, you may be out of luck.
That's true.
Very good. Now, guys, we are watching Twitter at Behind the Bunker. We are watching the live chat if you're watching us live on Monday night at 8 or 5 o'clock Pacific time. And we may even take a live Skype call later tonight if you guys are feeling feisty. So why don't we get to it, guys? What do we have in the question department? Now, before we do that, the one question that was sent in that I think we should touch base on is with Paintball Extravaganza that we just went through. We saw every single paintball event or item rather that was released last week. The question is, what is the most or your most favorite item that you saw last week? What impressed you the most? What made you excited? Now, there's a lot of new guns, a lot of new toys. For me, there was only a couple that actually, that were really good. That not really good, but that were different that I liked. Yeah. Zuby, what do you have to say?
I have to say, I think everything that came out was cool. We saw a lot of neat stuff, not to diminish any of them, but I think the best little treat, so to speak, or the autococker of last year that came back out this year was the tank from Ninja.
Oh, that's
Being
true. That was a highlight.
considerably smaller, 30% lighter. I mean, it's no joke. You hold it in your hand and you look at the tank. It's a normal 45 size, but it's a 68-45, and it's lighter than a 68. It's lighter than a 45. Which just, I think that's fantastic. I think that is a step in the next direction of where you're going to go with a marker.
Yeah, I like your suggestion, Zuby, but I think you're missing the obvious. As you well know,
Well, sorry, there's a star disclaimer at the bottom that said, with the exception of everything that was at Inception Designs, this is the coolest.
yeah. But I think Joe and I went around the corner in the booth and we saw a company that makes their own Nerf rockets. I thought that was probably one of the nicest things at Paintball Extravaganza.
There's a strike loader there.
I know, you made me do the video camera work for it.
No, the strike loader was not there, unfortunately.
there.
No, and I checked every single garbage can. I didn't even see it.
Oh, wow.
Bazinga.
Bazinga, indeed. C'est dommage. Wah, 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 wah.
Yeah. Oh well, Joe, what was your favorite? And don't say the Tan Defender.
I like the Tan Defender,
There was
but
other things than the Tan
there's
Defender.
there's two things that I quite like. Empire and JT had some new goggle colorways that are coming out. Those are pretty cool. Tipman had what I think will revolutionize or could help get people into MagFed. Last year, JT had the Splatmaster. Tipman's got a 98 mag adapter kit that clips right on where the hopper goes, and you can run mag feed in a 98. I think that'll be cool. And they've got the new TCR,
Yeah.
tactical compact rifle,
Yes.
which is a mag fed
Yes.
Yeah.
polymer.
How many
marker.
takes
Pretty
do we
cool.
have of Joe saying it's the tactical combat rifle?
Whatever, I got it right. A tactical compact rifle or
So
something.
it's
But
6, I
anyway,
think.
it's cool. I like that.
Yeah. Now, I also say one of my highlights there was running into Mark Pagon and Pretty Lou from Reservoir Dogs. That was fun. It was nice having Simon on the program as well as Eric Engler on the program. That was great. And we took a couple hours off and went to the Air and Space Museum, the Smithsonian, just to sort of clear our head from all the paintball goodness. And that was a highlight for me.
You know what I did on the way home that I didn't tell you?
Uh-oh.
What?
I stopped at Gettysburg. I went through the museum.
Did you really?
Yep.
Good for you.
And then what?
Pretty cool. Then I drove around town and saw this historical significant.
That's pretty
Parts of the
cool.
battle.
That's
That's really
neat.
neat.
Good for you, Josh.
Very good.
I thought you could drive through Gettysburg.
I
You can't
histo-
not stop.
You know, when I'm motoring about, as a term that my friend uses, motoring, I often like to stop at areas of historical significance around our great continent where we had the battles where many of the British defeated the American troops. I'm just kidding. No, but I enjoy going to museums and stopping and looking at tanks and things like that.
I also stopped in Leesburg, but I just went to Wendy's.
I do enjoy museums, but I like finding little hovels that have never eaten before that I can write home about. Much like
I'm sorry, what did you just say?
That he
You
can-
love finding little hovels you haven't eaten before.
eaten at.
You are a
like
dirty old
restaurants.
man.
That should be a thing.
Like
That should be a
Owl's
thing.
Steakhouse in Chicago.
Todd likes virgin hovels or hobbits.
Wow.
Knock the gong over.
Some
The
guy
opinions
loves that.
expressed by the following panelists do not necessarily reflect those of Behind the Bunker or its sponsors.
Thank you, Joe.
Oh, burn that one now.
Very good. So yeah, Paintball Extravaganza was fun. It was awesome sitting in the bar doing our program and looking over and seeing Bob Long and
I don't know if you can call it a bar there. It was the hotel lobby.
It's a hotel lobby with extortionate pricing.
With a really big echo.
And
like, the
fish.
ceiling must have been really high there.
They had
it was.
Koi there.
Because as an audio guy, I was very
Audio,
high at that.
yes.
Oh, it was very high stuff.
Yeah.
I would have taken a picture for you, but I didn't know you.
The drinks were
wanted to know how
reasonable.
high
I
the ceiling
bought
was.
Joe a beer and I bought a double shot of whiskey and it was $26 plus tax or plus tip rather. So it was
You didn't
reasonable.
buy it. I heard you at the bar. Put it on Tipman's tab.
Thank you to our sponsors. By the way, guys, if you're listening to the podcast, we didn't announce it at the front of the program, but want to thank our sponsors: Empire JT, Tipman GI, Air Ups Valken, Patchworks Flag Raiders, and our newest to our repertoire. Does anybody know? Do I have to put it out there?
Where is it?
It's right there.
Lux,
Lux.
DLX Industries or technology. So very good. Welcome to the
Spooling,
program.
according to Dustin.
Yes, hopefully we'll get Dustin back on the show shortly. So should we head on into our questions, People don't care about our trip to Extravaganza.
I
do
think
they?
you know what else we should talk to. What else we saw that was cool at Extravaganza. I think people, enjoy new products, and I think this is the show that brings out all the new products that all the manufacturers release. So I think you can talk about a couple other things that we saw that were cool, and I don't think people will object.
Well,
to
you know
that.
what? We have lots of people chiming in and wanting to ask us questions. Why don't we go to line 1? No, nobody there. Let's go to line 2, Seb. No, nobody there either. Line 3.
Hello and welcome to Movie
All right,
Mode.
so nobody's calling, nobody's asking us questions right now. So why don't we move on? Let's get to all the ones that were Facebooked in. Seb, why don't you just tell us the question, Seb?
Oh, yes. I'm just, I'm dwelling over what
You're dwelling.
Zuby just said. Barbara Elg, not a question, just a comment. Do not let your mother-in-law into a paintball field with a bright blue raincoat. Makes for an easy target. 2 bruises to prove it. Love you, Gavin. Barbara.
Nice, guys.
It's Garvin.
Just to let
Garvin.
Garvin at home know that we are missing you. It'll be nice to have you back on the program. Garvin is going through some medical issues with his wife. She's doing much better, knock on wood, and we wish them the best. And hopefully the road to recovery is short, and we'll get Garvin back here on the show. I think I just realized why he's not on the show. We've been calling him Gavin all this time.
His real name's Garvin.
Just had enough.
Those guys, you call me Gavin?
Todd
So
Matt.
long.
If they call me Gavin one more time, I'm seriously going to burn this place down.
I'm going to burn the studio down.
I just received a text similarly from Matt Mondu. He would like to have one of the battle axe bodies from Inception Designs that Simon makes. So when you're placing your order, please get a battle axe body for Matt's axe.
And here's a trivia question for those of you that watched Monday Night Show. Where did we get the battle? Why did Simon name it the battle axe?
I don't want to say.
After his wife, I told him.
Somebody's wife.
Yeah.
I don't want to
Seb,
say
can we
Simon's
have
wife. She's
can we
very
have
nice
the
lady.
Skype audio for a second? We have someone Skyping in. Let's see if we can get a some audio on here.
Here we go.
Hi, who's calling in?
Complaining that nobody was calling in, so I thought I'd call in and say autococker.
It's the aluminium we need there, Simon.
Yeah, can you say aluminium autococker?
What is the aluminium? Is that like aluminium?
Now I can't even say the word right. Aluminum.
Aluminium.
I'm too busy laughing.
How do you like the fact that we've got you on the show?
I love it. I absolutely love it.
I did not know that you could rap as well as you did.
I have many
Autococker.
Very nice. How did you get out of Extravaganza? Did you get out of there okay?
It was insane. I'm actually swamped right now just trying to keep up with what happened at Extravaganza, so it was absolutely fantastic for us.
Ah, very good. I have to say one of my favorites events of each year is Extravaganza, and
It was a lot of fun.
as much as it was very trying at times because of all the things that we had to do, I still look forward to it, and I can't wait to go back again next year. Where else can you go to get all those great products all under one roof, and you're not sweating in the Florida sun?
Yeah, it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's good.
Simon, I have another request for you. Can you say engage number 1 for me?
Engage number 1. Make it so.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Very good.
I appreciate it, guys.
No, and I appreciate you taking the time to be on our program on Monday night. That was great, and maybe we'll have an
Anytime.
opportunity to do that again. That was what did you think of
Anytime.
our portable on the road setup?
I really enjoyed myself, and what was even more important is that my mother loved it.
Oh, did she watch?
She watched this several times on replay.
That's why the numbers are so high this week.
Where is your mother? Where is your mother in England?
Yes.
Very
Awesome.
nice.
She is.
I have to say that we did many episodes of this program, and then I happened to be talking to my mother a couple months ago, and she just happened to mention that she watches the program.
I'm sure
I had no idea. Yes, apparently my brother gave her the web address and didn't say anything to me, and she's been watching incessantly for the last few months. So
Yeah, my mom watches
cool.
it. That's
That's cool.
yes, that's why my language and everything and
My
my
mom's
content.
I have
upstairs.
a question, though. I actually called in with a serious question.
Sure.
Which was the most exciting MagFed product you saw there?
Well,
The guys at Max Tac have a MagFed product that they're still working on. They're looking for guys to design it for them, and they had a couple ideas. I kind of like that. That was interesting for me. The T15 was a bit of a rerun, although they're saying it's coming out shortly. Still sort of, I'll believe it when I see it.
I think
some of the sorry, Joe. Some of the Rap 4 stuff that they came out with that is new and they're not releasing yet. When it comes out, I think it's pretty badass. I had an opportunity to shoot some of them.
There was definitely a huge focus on it at the show, wasn't there? It was quite impressive.
Yeah, you
can
mean
see where people are thinking the opportunities are.
You mean Extravaganza MagFed show?
Yeah.
Well, the Milsig M17 was pretty neat, and it's coming in at a very good price point at like $329 Canadian.
I hear they can't keep them in stock; that they're flying off the shelves.
And then the Tippmann gun, when that comes out midsummer, the TCR will be pretty cool. I think.
I do one of those TCRs. I'm going to be hitting them up for that.
I've heard a lot of people kind of giving their pros and cons for the TCR, but you know what? The great thing about that is it is done by Tippmann, so you know they're going to sell a bunch of them. They're done properly, and the TIPX clips fit them, and it's going to get MagFed into more people's hands than
absolutely.
Unfortunately, not to dismay all the other companies, but more than any other company. And if you're a MagFed fan, it's got to make you happy. I mean, I talked to Rap 4, I talked to Milsig, and they're so ecstatic that Tippmann did that. It's just going to better them.
I agree. I think that's going to be huge for the whole genre. And it's kind of like how when I did the Empire Sniper and I spoke to the guys at CCM and they were over the moon with the fact that we were doing the Sniper because it was bringing more people into playing Pump. And it's been huge for Pump play. And I think that Tippmann doing the MagFed products will do exactly the same for MagFed play. I think it'll be massive.
Yeah. I do like how you turned off the lights, but I can still see your prototype for your next thing behind you. No?
Which one? This one, or this one?
Yeah, no kidding. Well, the question is, it is and has always been, when is Simon coming out with his marker? We keep getting that about once a week.
I will be working on everything, so it'll happen, and there's nothing like that going to be imminent, but it will happen.
Yeah. How about a drum feed for my TM15? Could you make me one of those?
I think I will be moving on and beyond what I did when I was at Key, so I don't see me doing any accessories for the TM15 anytime soon.
That's fine.
Are you going to do a body for Joe for his tan Defender?
I was trying to get hold of one that I could cut down and lighten up a little bit.
Now, so, I know people give you ideas every week saying, Simon, you got to do this, Simon, you got to do that, but I have something that the product, or a product that this industry definitely lacks.
Does it involve an omen and a really flappy thing?
No! Your private life is no part of the show. I'm talking about goggles. There's not enough goggles in the market. We need to have proper pair of goggles that a guy can buy. Something that has colors and
You know what? I do think there's still opportunities in the goggle market. I think there are certain things that are being neglected. But doing something with a gazillion different colors is not quite my style.
No. I heard there was windshield wiper blades being attached to some of them. Now, that could be wrong, but we'll see. Yeah, so what was the highlight of the show for you, Simon? What was the one product that you thought was...
You know what? I was actually very disappointed in that I didn't get a chance to go around and take a look at the booths in the way that I normally would have. I was just so swamped.
Yeah.
I was excited to see what the guys from Lurker Paintball were trying to do, and I think that's going to be very interesting.
And they were literally right around the corner across the hall from you, right? So
yeah, and I did manage to go take a look at those, what they're up to, and I know those guys, and I've been talking to them about the project for a while, so it was exciting for them to be releasing it.
And the J4, did you see the J4?
Yep, they're right next to me, and again, good friends of mine, so they're getting very close, and that's cool. I think it's good for us to have more small companies and more innovators in the industry, so for me to see people actually trying to do something outside of the box and create something special is a great thing. Yeah. And I think we need more of that.
Yeah. And how much honestly did you have to hold back when you saw Zuby and didn't hug him? How much were you really holding back?
It was difficult. It was really difficult.
Yeah. Very good.
I'm just sad that I was so busy I didn't get to be on the show with Zuby on the Wednesday, because I think that would be quite entertaining.
Yeah, Eric Engler was great on the show.
He was, and I came down and I saw you guys very briefly, and then I had to go back up and keep working.
Yeah, well, that's the problem when someone has a product that other people want, you kind of have to go ahead and sell it to them, right?
Yeah.
Every time we walked by, you had there's people waiting to talk to you and get your product, and there was a huge buzz about your products throughout the show, not just, you know, there was buzz with vendors and also people buying. So I think Inception Designs, you know, made a super
amazing,
strong
Joe.
footprint, you know, and strong headway at the show.
It was more than I expected, and it was absolutely amazing. Now I have to live up to the expectations and keep things moving forwards, which is what I'm endeavoring to do. So it's exciting. I'm actually looking at bringing on some more full-time staff and try and get it all done.
Very good.
Awesome.
Now, are you importing those from the UK, your new staff, or?
No, this will be a homegrown American.
Do you have a height requirement too? Must be at least 7 feet tall.
Yeah, 6'5" minimum. Although the one of the other guys I'm looking at bringing on board is actually the opposite end of the tool spectrum.
Oh no, you can't.
So it could
Then
be
you'll
quite
have to have a
entertaining.
clown car.
Like a clown? Yes, like a gnome.
Very good. Yes, I don't know the gentleman's name that worked your booth. That was
Andy.
the Green Giant. He very nice guy. Very nice guy.
He's coming on board. So,
He felt so
it's
bad
really
because we
exciting.
kept coming to see you, and he's like, "Yeah, he's
Busy, you know, what
still
can I help
talking."
you with, you know,
Yeah.
I don't have any authority to
So.
do anything.
Well, that'll be changing, and I wasn't anticipating it being as busy as it was, but we've got some plans in place to improve that for the future.
Very good. Very good. Well, that's awesome. Well, thank you for calling in, Simon. We're going to have to probably let you
My
go because
pleasure.
we have people that actually emailed in our questions that we should probably get to. But yeah, what a great event. Glad that we had you on the show. That was a first for us. And something tells me we're going to be back in your neck of the woods this year.
I think so for OXCC, aren't you?
I think so.
Let's get everybody on the show at one time then. We have to get Eric down, me, Zuby. We'll have a good show then.
That's true.
Yeah, for sure.
That'll be fun.
My goal, and it sort of happened last year at Extravaganza. This year we weren't able to do it because of the loudness of the bar, but my goal is to have a live show with 30 or 40, 50 people, guys, or 50 guys
30,
out
40,
there.
50
Sounds
guys will hold them all off of the
like a
dam.
dam.
That's what I was trying to do. Yeah, I mean, we had a live audience last year, and it was awesome. They were great. They were
was a lot of
interactive. It was good. So
We'll need to rent a 50-channel console for that.
yes, we will.
Pretty crazy.
Oh well. All right. Well, thanks for calling in, Simon.
My pleasure.
At least
Thanks for having
somebody
me,
called
guys.
me in tonight. That's great.
Anytime.
Awesome. Take care, sir.
Bye, Simon.
Bye, Simon.
All right. So we still have lots of your questions to get to. Seb, why don't
Zuby's
we?
next.
Does Zuby have a question?
He has a
Zubaraya.
question.
Very good.
Yeah, hang on. I'm just saying hi to Beaker. There we go.
Hi, Beaker.
Okie silly dokio. What should we get to first? Okay. I found this one pretty interesting that we're on the conversation of MagFed. When Jack writes in, when I first started playing in the mid-'80s, we used 10-round tubes. Then in the quest for more firepower, loaders started to take over now. Now that MagFed has become very... Do people seriously proofread this? Jeez. Now that MagFed has become very popular, I've noticed that mags keep getting bigger and bigger. It won't be long before they are loaders again. What do you think about his question?
See,
not his
I thought
bastardization
he was
of
leaning.
grammar.
He was going to ask us to start talking about the strike loader.
I was just going to talk about that, how we could get larger loaders with hoses that would feed right into the back, into the side of the gun, and you could wear it on your back. That's a brilliant idea.
The main limitation to our sport is the fact that we're dealing with a 6.8 caliber paintball. It's always going to be that size, and it's always going to have loaders of certain substance in order to hold them. Yes, there's 50 cal out there, but for those of you that have tried it, it does mark. But in my opinion, still not well enough to combat cheating, especially on the rental field when you have, people that don't quite understand the rules.
You
And
should have windshield wipers on your goggles too.
yeah, so I don't know.
But I think Tippmann was on with something when they first started putting out their TPX. They had that Stagger Stack magazine. I thought they were really onto something because I thought if you look at the one they're coming out with now, the 20 stack, and you were somehow able to figure out the feeding issues behind Stagger stacking that, you could be looking at a mag that would have, 30 paintballs in it. That's a decent sized magazine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or Stagger stacking one of the U feed ones. If you're Stagger stacking that, you might be able to get
Tiberius is going to
50
have
rounds in it.
No, is it Round 4 going to have a True Feed 22 round mag? I think Rapport's going to have a 22 round mag. Isn't that right?
I'm not sure. Worm SA in the chat just brings up a new topic. Bazooka Ball, he says. For those of you that don't know, Bazooka Ball was released at Paintball Extravaganza, and what it is, it's basically like a silencer that goes onto the end of your gun and closes the porting on your barrel.
Oh, you take the barrel off.
Oh, is that what it is? Yes, I'm sorry. And then you cram a... I hate saying the word Nerf,
like
but Nerf golf ball.
Yes.
And you shoot it at each other at ridiculous velocities. I think it's fairly safe. I mean, as long as you're wearing goggles and stuff, I think it's probably less traumatic than a paintball for some kids, but it's still Bazooka Ball. I don't know. Whatever. It was a neat project.
Joe's still paranoid of getting shot with the face with one.
Yes.
Actually, we'll try and get that video on in the next week or two as well.
Several times. Just don't hit me in the face, okay?
Yeah. All right, Seb, let's get some more of your questions.
All right, next question. Brain Burnin asked, when will they do a league series with 5-man division for scenario and or woods ball? Sorry, Joe.
I think the UWL is the closest you're going to get to that
The
right
closest you'll get is that.
UWL.
Yeah. Zuby, I know Simon, we were just talking to him, but he says that the stacker or the stagger stacking paintballs is tough. They don't slide well together.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why we're not seeing it.
That's a possibility.
Yeah.
I think he knows. We should ask that guy that was just on Skyped in.
You know, Simon's a pretty smart guy.
And Brain,
he could
maybe
figure it out.
Maybe look at the PSP website, because they did mention that they're really bumping up their pump division this summer, along with the PSP events. So
good.
I would not be surprised if they actually.
Super Game last year had a pump game the night before, and it was huge. There was tons of people. I think they had to limit registration on that one. Yeah. All right. Anyone else have a question lined up?
I got one from Eric. It says 3-round burst pump.
Wow.
My question is why?
I know. I had a hard time reading it with a straight face, too.
It's like the RoboCop gun that has the triple round burst.
3-round pump. So every time you pump and pull the trigger, 3 balls would go out.
You could do that if you had like a triple barrel shotgun. There was a paintball marker.
Yeah, but why?
Well, there was that paintball marker back in the day. It was called the Deuce, and it was double barrel. It had 2 hoppers on it, and you had one pump, and you'd pull the pump back, push it forward, and it would shoot, and you'd have 2 balls come out.
It was also called the Nasty Typhoon, wasn't it?
That was made. That was a semi-auto.
Oh, was that semi-auto?
That was a semi-auto. But this was called the Deuce. It was a double barrel pump gun that had 2 200 round hoppers on top, or two of whatever you wanted.
Yeah, those Nasty Typhoons, when you've got a double barrel and they both fire at the same time, it's disorienting because just 2 balls traveling out of the end of your barrel, you're trying to track one of them. It's
hard enough to go pee. Imagine trying to pee through 2 doodads. It would be hard.
These pretzels are making me thirsty.
All right, that was my segue. So why don't we move on? Did anyone else have a question?
Zuby looks busy, so I'm going to go ahead so we don't have
I'm
that.
ready.
Leo J. Reddy III asked, what makes a successful woodball league? Limited paint, mission-based, attack, defend, etc.? ?
I don't think you should ever have limited ammo.
Nope.
No, especially when you're playing scenario. I don't know.
I think I talked about this with Joe one time, and he mentioned the fact that I think the biggest hindrance, and now that he's said it, makes perfect sense to me. The biggest hindrance behind the whole scenario paintball league thing is the field. It's hard to convince a field owner to create a separate area just to play a tournament for one weekend when they could have walk-on groups in that area.
Yeah.
That takes a large portion of the field away, and it's set up specifically for one thing and one thing only. It's very hard to turn that into a random scenario game on a weekend.
Yeah, I agree.
So I wouldn't necessarily say it's the format. Formats can change. Formats, whatever. You can do whatever format you want. It's a matter of finding a field to do it at.
Yeah. All right, let's buzz through some more here. We'll get some good value.
Did Spider come out with anything new this year for their Mag? Wrong there. MagFed.
No, but they came out with a 50 caliber rental gun.
That's pretty cool.
No, but they came out for a 50 caliber rental gun.
But here's the thing:
there's one
Spider's
with
taken a
Todd.
step back. You got to think about this. They were purchased by Empire, so it's going to take a little while for them to sort out which SKUs they're going to sell, and then they're probably going to take their mag technology and maybe modify it, trick it out, change it, do whatever,
Customize
it. But maybe that is their stepping stone into MagFed.
Parker and Milo are MagFed.
Yeah.
And there's a question on here for Todd. I'm going to read it in Matt's voice. Todd, are there any exercises you use for walking your trigger on your offhand?
Why do you use my voice?
Because you're sick and I'm supposed to be reading the questions for you.
It's a very interesting question, actually.
That's awesome.
That's a trick question.
In all honesty, here's
show
here's
the
what we
people
used to
on the podcast video how to do.
Here's what we used to
No.
do back in the days before ramping. Grab your gun and hold it, and just incessantly practice feathering the trigger. I know
when
that
you're
sounds
watching
stupid.
TV, walk it.
Yeah.
Yeah, while you're watching TV, put one on the back of the toilet, put one in your car.
The
put
best
one in
thing to
your
do
desk at
is to
work.
do it when you're around somebody that it irritates, because that seems to be the problem. But I mean, I remember people would just hold their guns and incessantly click it, and that's the same thing about guys that want to learn how to shoot left-handed proficiently. I always tell them to hold their gun with their left hand when they're coming on and off the field, and try to favor their left hand when they're holding their guns, cronying it, even. Target shooting. Always try to use your hand as much as your left hand as much as you can, so that it doesn't become. So it feels more comfortable. Essentially, build up that muscle memory.
I'll even elaborate on this. When I first started taking drum lessons as a kid, my drum instructor said, "Do everything with your left hand. Butter your toast, zip your pants. Do everything with your left hand." And also, walking the trigger is fine with your left hand. But another thing that I see a lot of people struggling with is switching, going from your left
hand to your right
left
hand.
to your right hand. You had to switch.
Yeah.
Practice the switch too.
Yeah.
And speaking of Seb's voice impediment, speech impediment. Sorry.
Well, while you pick a question, I got a good one.
No,
for
I had
you.
a good one. Where'd it go?
We're ready.
Oh, what are your thoughts on a disabled players league? Disabled teams and adaptations to allow disabled people to play.
That's brilliant.
I think it's
Similar
great.
to the
Yeah, that's
Special
brilliant.
Olympics.
Yeah, we at our indoor facility, it's wheelchair accessible. It's flat everywhere, and it's all the same playing surface throughout the front to the end of the back, everywhere. So people that have wheelchairs can actually move it about. Our doorways in our buildings are wide enough that a wheelchair can get in and out as well. And our transition from our speedball field to our scenario field is also the same height. So, I mean, you can go and play. I've seen also there's mounts. Tippmann and Valken in their catalogs have paintball gun mounts that are meant for like companies that are doing zombie shoots. And I've seen guys take those mounts and mount them to an arm on their wheelchair so that they can roll around and have the gun sitting there. So all they need to do is grab the gun, aim, and shoot. But the weight of the gun is being held by these brackets. I think it's brilliant. And the brackets keep it so that you only are shooting, 40 degrees in front of you, so it doesn't spin around and shoot you. Or, when you're going through a door, it doesn't go all the way to the right and then you get caught in a doorway. So, yeah. But, I mean, outdoors tough. Not every outdoor field has enough level ground that you can do it. But certainly you could do it on a speedball field. Most speedball fields are flat.
There is some attention paid to it too from Team Defiant. Sent in their stuff for, I think it was veterans coming back.
Yep, action
and the action chair.
Yeah, those are pretty badass though. Like,
those are awesome.
You can go deer hunting in those things. You can go right into the forest. You can,
yeah, buddy.
Good for them.
So I got a comment/question. Are you guys coming to AMR Castle weekend, April 26th to 27th?
No, because we're going to be Trek Wars.
Trek Wars.
Mm-hmm. We're unfortunately going to miss that, but fortunately we're going to be at Trek Wars. That's great.
A la home field.
And the second part of that communication via email
We
by
already said
Jim
no.
Winters.
Oh.
Also, I had a question for the show. With all these magfegs coming out.
Mag what?
Megfed.
Okay. Did anyone else hear that?
Yes.
Okay.
Hey, stop dwelling on it, buddy. With all these mag feds coming out, I feel you are at an unfair advantage when playing against electronic guns with a 200 round loader. Unless you're playing in a strictly mag fed event, I say you lose 9 out of 10 times. Your thoughts?
I disagree. I play handicapped in some people's mind by playing pump, and that's, you could argue, is limited ammo as well because you can only get out so much at a time.
We just tell you you're handicapped.
But MagFed, I mean, you're always going to be up against guys that have semi-auto and have more paint, on them. It's just a learning curve. You're just going to have to pick your shots. Not everybody needs to lay down ropes of paint and hold people in positions and whatnot.
It is an uphill battle. It's not going to be easy.
No, it's going to better you, if anything, because you're going to be more selective on your shots. You're going to take the time to aim them, and you're going to be more cognizant of how much paint you're going through.
I think you're going to see many field operators embrace mag fed, and you'll see what I think you'll see is your traditional recreational paintball players. You'll have them playing. You'll have speedball on speedball on fields, and then you'll have a mag fed variant on another field playing in a group of 20 or 30, and doing their own thing. And then many fields take the recreational players and you break it down into rental players on one field. Then you have intermediate and advanced players with their own equipment playing an up-level game on a different field. Most playing fields, regardless of their size, have 4 to 6 to 8 different playing fields, and you can easily. It's a bit of a science, but you can easily rotate different groups among fields so everyone can experience all your different fields. It's very easy to do, and it's what the players want, but you have to look at what works best for the field and the field operator as well. Everyone, I think, can live together in harmonious paintball relationship.
Yeah, for sure. Well, why don't we get to maybe one more question, and then I think we have a Skype call lined up, so why don't we do that?
I got one from Kyle Allen Hatch Bailey, who apparently does not have enough first names. When will HBA tank become higher pressure? I honestly have to say, after the tank we saw from Ninja the other day, is it going to be necessary?
I don't know. I don't know if you need to. I mean, you look at, Lux, you look at the Vanquish, you look at any of the high-end guns. When you go out to play speedball, per se, or even scenario, you're carrying a crap ton of paint on you, and your tank is able to shoot all of that. Unless you devise another system to hold more paint on you successfully and comfortably, that's not a strike loader. I don't know why you'd need another tank, to be honest with you. I appreciate what he's saying, and I'd love to have a tank that doesn't run out of air. If you're going to ask that question too, you also have to put it back in the field owner standpoint. When are all fields going to have proper air? I mean, how many scenario games have you been to, Zuby, where you go to your, here's an example. We were at Flag Raiders, we filled our tanks, made sure our guns worked, we went to an event, I won't say the name, and we donated, without realizing, our air back to their air system because they were only up to about 3,500.
Every time.
So, I mean, it's great to have these high-pressure tanks, but not every field... and I'm not trying to put fields down because they're very expensive to have compressor systems, but not every field can go all the way up to 45 consistently all day long. No. Which is too bad.
I think that's the next step too. I'd honestly say, I don't know, from Joe's, I'm not a field owner, but I think I'd honestly say drop CO2 and pick up a decent 45 system.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, let's. We have a Skype call here. Let's see who this is. Matt, will this go up?
Lounge lizard.
It's Lounge Lizard. Thanks, guys.
Mr. Beaker, how are you?
Not too bad, guys. What's happening?
Not much. What is that exercise unit you have on the couch over there?
Which one? Where?
I don't know. It's like green rubber bands with some stretchy things. Were you just doing some jazzercise?
Oh, no, that's the wife's.
Oh, well, okay. So this is the dungeon we're in?
That's actually the game room.
Well, whatever you guys call it. Very nice. When are we going to see Beaker this year?
You'll see me probably at Super Game, Living Legends, Castle, most of the EMR events, and then.
But hold on a sec. Are we going to see you in Canada at Flag Raiders at all this year?
If I get my passport.
Nice.
I'm working on working on getting that. So,
Yeah.
and plus,
Don't you
it's
work
all dependent-
security somewhere, and aren't you bonded? How hard is it to get your
You're
passport?
like
then?
have top secret clearance for what you do, and you can't get a passport. Come on.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Robert,
Stammer.
No, with that,
You're not going to get through
an.
You're not going to get through an
Yeah.
interview, security interview, with that. If you're going to be stammering, and I see your eyes
No.
twitching, and
How come you still have your Christmas tree up?
what are you hiding behind that mustache?
And since when is it so hard to get a passport?
Well, he's got to get up. He's got to shower. He's got to drive to the passport
You gotta
office.
walk
and
to
wait
the end
in
of your
line.
hallway. That's going to take you half.
Beaker's
a day.
got 2 cats.
He does.
I got
come.
There's more than just 2.
Very nice. All right, we're also doing a podcast here, so I guess we should stop being so visual. We could describe his room. Beaker's sitting on 2 lovely couches covered in paintball jerseys.
Yep,
He's
pretty
got
much.
random cat toys and a laptop sitting on the floor, and he has a very
like he-
large, extremely large coffee mug that dwarfs anything else in his house.
Looks like he's filming an episode of Born Free.
All right, Beaker, do you have any questions for the show, or are you just calling to say hello?
I just figured I'd call and say hello and see how you guys were doing. And I know it was good to see you guys with the extravaganza this
It
year.
sure was, wasn't it?
yes,
I had
it
a nice
was-
haircut, and Joe had a clean shave, and Zuby was trying that new Axe body spray. We must have been pretty nice to be around.
Yeah, put the whole can on so I don't have to shower all week. Nice.
Shower in
Well,
a bottle.
Yeah, the road show. I mean, with you guys and having your setup with it, you guys do. That's an awesome setup you guys have.
Yeah.
It really is.
We're-
It was enjoyable to sit down and on. I mean, I know I wasn't on the show with you guys, but I mean, it was enjoyable to watch. So
Zuby's still a little upset because the show didn't allow him to walk around. He knew it was a paintball event, so he was walking around without his shirt on, and yeah.
Yeah, I was
Breathing
in-
through his knuckle.
I was in full speedball mode. I had my boxers and my Uggs on.
I was waiting for that. So waiting for that.
Very nice. All right. Well, thank you very much, Beaker, for checking in. We're going to let you go here. We'll see you in Sniper's Den, probably in Oregon, for Super Game.
yes, definitely.
Very good.
So-
Thank you, sir. We're going to let you go, and we'll see you shortly.
I
So thanks, guys. All you need to do is get us up on Skype. We might start taking some Skype calls in the next few weeks. So get us up at BehindTheBunker.com. This is our podcast you're listening to. You are listening to us on iTunes. If you're watching us live on Monday night, thank you very much. But you do want to check us out on iTunes. Nothing better than to crank the podcast on when you're in your vehicle doing your commute. Makes it a little more interesting. I wouldn't say overly interesting, just maybe a little more interesting than being in traffic all by yourself. Thank you, Josh Zuby Zabrickus, for being in the program this evening.
Thank you for listening.
Oh, some
that
sound
was
effects. Sound effects.
That's actually just my cold.
Oh.
I'm Joe. Thank you very much for having me. It was great.
Joe, here's a question.
Yes,
Sorry
Todd.
to get to this late. You guys were talking. Guest 585 asked, do you guys know why Ninja doesn't make their tanks PI/DOT approved, so they are 110% legal with the European Union? I don't know how big of the market is for them.
They're constant. They need DOT for the U.S. and they need TC for Canada. I think they concentrate on the North American market first. If they had orders, it probably costs several $1,000s.
Could be a patent thing too.
Yeah, you never
Somebody
know.
could hold that patent in Europe.
Yeah, the other thing is,
The laws might be different.
I know every
Exactly.
paintball
Yeah.
business right now is, with the recession, they're only manufacturing as much as they think they need to. And as the recession is slowly going away and numbers are increasing, they are increasing their productions, but they're only manufacturing what they think they're going to sell. So I think they're trying to stay with what they know is going to sell, which is to the U.S. and Canadians right now.
Europe is really hard. I remember Gavin saying he had to hire a patent lawyer for 3 months to try to get his product
For the
over to
sand
Europe.
base, Terratech.
And that was impossible. I don't know where he's at now, but we'll let him fill us in on that stuff later.
And he needs to be fluent
there was
European too.
There's a lot of confusion over the patent laws around Garvin
Sand.
and Gavin. So there's
Yeah, but that's the interesting thing. Is his patent law or is his patent request, is it in under Garvin or Gavin? We're going to have to ask him next time.
Yeah.
I think Gavin is a North American translation. Garvin is the European,
I think so.
and he's quite fluent in European as well. So when he's in Europe, he's at home there because he can speak European.
Yeah. And guys, if you are listening to us on podcast, make sure you head on over to our Facebook page and type in on our Facebook page, hey, give me a ticket. or give me a damn ticket for Living Legends 7, and that's all you need to do to get entered into the draw, which we'll do next week on
Do it now.
the show. If you're in your car, pull over and then do it on your smartphone. All right. Seb.
Yes.
Thank you for being in the program tonight.
You are most welcome, sir.
In a percentage, how many questions did we actually get to?
Actually, very few, because as usual, we had tons tonight. I only did 3. So
yeah, we had we.
But a talk to Simon's worth 1,000 questions.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I would say. All right, and Matt, I'm not going to say it, but thank you for being in the program tonight. And
good.
Yeah, so we will see you guys back here for episode 17 of our podcast next week, or for our live show Monday night at 8 o'clock. Thank you guys for tuning in. We will see you next week.
Peace.